If you are in a 9 to 5 job and currently hate what you do and the restrictive nature of that work, then I promise you are going to find a lot of value in today's guest. Aston Haslam started in a 9 to 5, earning just over 20k per year, and now, fast forward a few years later, has several 6 and 7 figure businesses in the space of property. In the episode today, we dive into all things sales, negotiation, authority building, and content, and some other key areas that are going to be pivotal to you for when you start on that journey as well. I hope you enjoy. So with building a multi-million pound business at 25 with your mates and raising 10 million in private finance, which is not bad, I think it would be good to start around the subject of sales and selling and negotiation, because to do that, you know, you've got to get a long list of people along that way to say yes to you. So how do you go about that?
I think, selling is literally in absolutely every business. You need to be good at sales. Myself and my two business partners, we all have separate roles within the business. They're very analytical, so they are like tax background, accountancy background. I'm the complete opposite. So with sales, that's pretty much me on the front end, and I think it comes from the very start. Like in property, for example, like just doing a simple thing of like building a personal brand allows you to sell a lot more. And I think the biggest thing for sales is just being open, transparent, take like a no bullshit approach. But I think the one thing, like in a couple businesses that we've got, the best way to sell is basically just on other people's pain, which might sound bad, but ultimately, I see myself as doing somebody a favor when I'm giving them a product or when I'm raising finance off somebody, for example, because even though I can't say it, they're getting 5% in the bank, I can give them 10 to 12. And there's risks that come with that, obviously, but I kind of sit on other people's pain of what position are you in now? Let's say it's raising finance. It's like, what interest rate are you currently getting in the bank? Like 5%. Well, that's not great. Obviously with inflation, etc., like you need to be doing more with your cash. So yeah, I think sales is absolutely everywhere, and for us, it's my job to do that across all of our different companies. But I think probably one thing I've learned in the last 18 months is the easiest way to sell is to already have that personal brand in the background, because it literally just gives you that platform of proof. And people, especially my personal brand, people look at it and think, this guy's transparent. He's authentic. He's literally just who he says he is. And I think that's the best way.
Yeah, your stuff is, I noticed that as well. I was like, look, there's a lot of people in property who post online, a lot. And there's a lot of noise out there. And I think you do come across quite no bullshit in that sense. You're saying like, yes, like go be an entrepreneur and chase your dreams, but it's fucking shite.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. Like you say, there's probably too many people with trying to build a personal brand. And you have to be authentic in like absolutely everything in business. Like you just have to be yourself. Like people, especially in property, try and just fake it till they make it. And in a way, I don't blame them, because it might help them at the start or whatever. And I think everyone sort of naturally kind of does it at the start, but yeah, there's too many people just not being authentic, and that's one thing that, especially when I started like 18 months ago, I caused a little bit of a shitstorm when I started on Instagram, just through not calling people out, like I've never done that, but it's like business models, and I've done one recently on commercial valuation HMOs and the fact I don't like it, and I had 100 hate comments on it.
Why?
I just don't like the model because you're over leveraged. You literally, let's say the value in the house on a commercial basis at £450,000, but the actual bricks and mortar is £300,000. So when you're getting a mortgage out, and let's say you're getting a mortgage at 75% of 450, it might be like 310, 330, whatever the numbers are, then you are literally like 100% leveraged. It just doesn't make sense. But obviously the people that then don't like that sort of content and the people that have got a motive behind it. And so I see that and I get it, because I do the same. I protect my business and whatever.
For sure.
But yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, and just going back to what you said about personal brand, like that definitely does for you a lot of the selling for you, because people will show up to a call with you and be like, right, well, that's on, I know he knows this, I know he does this, and I know he's got this resume and so on.
Exactly.
And then I think when you get to the call as well, maybe just poking on some of those pain points that they do or don't have. And I think that really is the key with it, is that you're not like taking something from them. You actually are solving a problem they have in an
Yeah,
ideal world. Otherwise, you are manipulating them.
exactly.
You're giving them something. It's a fair exchange. You give me this, I give you that.
100%. I think like a simple example is, right, someone's in a 9 to 5 job. It's like, do you want to get out of that 9 to 5 job? Most of the time, the answer is yes. And okay, well, I can give you this. Do you think by having this is going to give you a better chance of getting out of your 9 to 5 job? Yes. Okay, then. Like, what is stopping you from doing it?
Yeah.
There's some form of like fear, and naturally in the property space there is fear because people are fear of getting ripped off. They're fear of somebody not, having not done what they say they've done. And especially in like the info product space, it's just absolutely, it's like the Wild West. Is what we say. And I think you have to back up from like somebody that runs like a property network, rather than like a course. Then you have to be able to back up what you say with evidence of what you've done, and that's why people that we work with, we show our accounts, we show everything.
Yeah, I think I like that as well. And to be like, you've got to be able to show that you've walked the walk that you're trying to help somebody fucking walk.
Sure.
And to be able to demonstrate that, I think, is powerful and adds to your credibility. And if I think about like how I want to get like how you prepare for a sales call. Like if I came onto your page, I've been following your content, and I booked a coaching call with you. Like, do you have some levers that you're trying to pull mid call? How are you preparing?
So we have people that do a lot of the sales calls now,
Your
but
closers and
yeah,
sellers and
but it's a whole process. So it starts from when you've booked that call in, of somebody reaching out, like saying thank you for booking the call, like giving you an actual call, say I've got your booking,
sure.
like we're looking forward to speaking, like what is it? So before the call, we already know what problem it is you're having, and then even before you've jumped on that call, we've already sent over loads of assets based on the problem that you've got. So I think people then come to the call already 75% of the way there, because they understand. They've given me a call and said that, what am I struggling with? I'm struggling with raising finance. Cool. Before the call, they've already sent me, testimonials, wins from other people that were in the same position as I was. They've already sent me over loads of free help, which is better than anything that I've seen on Instagram, on YouTube already. And then just off the back of that, they will come to the call. In my head, I'm believing that they are already, 75% of the way there. So I think it literally comes from like the pre-call process, has to be absolutely nailed on. And then on the actual sales call, it is literally just like fact finding, making sure that we can actually help somebody. Like with the people that like work on our sales team, like we are so strict with the things they can say and can't say. There's absolutely no way that we'd have somebody who's like a super pushy closer. Like it just would not work for us. Because when I used to do sales calls, I used to sit on the call and be like, listen, this is what we got. If you like it, you like it. You don't, you don't. At the end of the day, if you join or if you don't join, it's not going to change my life. It's only going to change your life one way or the other. Like it's not, it's not like, I do not really care. Like this is for you. And that's the way I'd always pitch it. So just like no friction.
And I think even holding that frame and saying, I'm good either way, that's just such a position of power to come to a conversation from. And like, the strongest person in any deal is the person who's willing to walk away.
Exactly.
Always.
Yeah.
And if you can hold that frame, but I think it's kind of hard because, if I think back to my history with sales, right? But if I set aside my own businesses I have now, I was often doing it in a cold environment, reaching out to big businesses, trying to like weasel my way into that company and get in touch with this person who knows that person, who knows that person, blah, blah, blah. So it's cold everywhere. No one's ever heard of me. Whereas the online space, where if you're selling support, mentorship, info products, whatever, like they come to those calls a lot different, and you don't even have to almost be as clever with your questioning or how you prod to their pains. It's like, you already know what I've got. You already know you've got the problem.
Exactly.
And here's the solution if you want it. If you don't, stay where you are.
Yeah, as literally, it's as simple as that. And like, yeah, we just have pretty much just no friction across the whole process.
All right, let's think about your conversations with investors,
Hmm.
right? So you're raising finance. Like, are those conversations as warm, or do you have to be a little bit more forceful?
Um, no, it's probably even like less give a
Really?
shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
Um, I mean, two things. One is compliance. So when you're raising finance, most people do it in a non-compliant way. A lot of people say we can beat the bank, or we can give you a fixed return, or whatever. Like, you can't say that stuff. It's literally against FCA regulations. It's basically in their book. It's called active encouragement, which is like a big grey area.
Yeah.
And so you can't actively encourage somebody to invest. So you can't say it's a really good deal. You can't say all of these different things that you really want to say, because you just can't do it. So for us, I'm very standoff. I'm very like, I have this opportunity. If you'd like to get involved in whatever capacity, you just let me know. No problem if not, because I am speaking to other people at the same time. Just wanted to present you with the opportunity. So it's even more like standoff. But I think the one thing that benefits somebody looking to raise money is that everybody wants to get into property. Like, property is a sexy industry. Like, everyone's sat there thinking, everyone's watched Homes Under the Hammer, all these different things. So for like actually going out and raising finance or selling deals to an investor or whatever that looks like, I actually think that's the easiest bit of property, without a shadow of a doubt. Like, finding the deals is the hardest.
Yeah,
For sure.
I agree. Yeah, finding deals was, you call up an agent.
Yeah, I mean, we don't even find the deals anymore. We just let other, like, we actually work with deal sources.
Yeah.
Really trusted ones that we know. There's probably like 3 or 4 in the entire country.
Bro, I would fucking hate to be a deal sourcer.
Oh yeah, no, I would absolutely just despise it.
Like, you are despised.
Yeah,
Like, everyone hates you.
yeah. There's literally genuinely 3 or 4 in the entire country that are really, really solid deal sources.
Oh, that's
that
it's
I
not
would
hard
work
to stand
with.
out.
No, it's not. And I think if you're half good at it, then you will stand out. But it's actually people that like care. Like, some of the ones that we've worked with in the northeast, like, if they say the refurb is going to be X amount and they go over a little bit, they'll stomach it, because it's just their values, and that's what we used to do when we started deal sourcing 5 years ago. Like, the first refurb we quoted at 25 grand, and it ended up being 35 grand, and we got paid like a 2.5 grand source fee and 2.5 grand project management fee. But then we stomached the 10 grand on the refurb because it was the first deal we'd done, and we didn't want to ruin the relationship with the first client. And it's like, they're the sort of values that people in the property industry these days, well, a lot of people don't have, which is frustrating for people, especially like a normal investor coming in and just want to source them a deal. Like, 99% of the time, it's just a bag of shit.
It's like what we said before we were coming on, how people act when they're under pressure. You know, that scenario that you've just described there, a lot of people would have not stomached the 10K.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And like, Adam and Alex, who were my 2 business partners at the time, Adam had just left to go full time in the business. Alex was on like 16 grand. I think I was on 25K in my job. And it's like, we weren't in a position to stomach 10 grand between us. No, we didn't have that money.
Yeah.
But we just did it because it's just what people should do. And like, yes, you shouldn't. If there's unforeseen things, like you rip the floorboards up and the joists are rotten, for example, like, that is something that, yes, you put back on the investor because the surveyor's not picked up or whatever. But like, if it's just mistakes that you've made, like, you've got to own them.
Yeah. I think that's like, you know, it's not even because things go wrong in business, right? You've got clients, I've got clients, I've got people relying on me, I've got people looking for me, and people get like aggy, for lack of a better word. They get in your face. They're like, you know, they want things to happen, and they want it to happen yesterday, and things go wrong. And you know, it's what I've learned is it's not about whether things go wrong or not. It's how you respond to when things go wrong that determines your relationships, determines your brand, determines your fucking outcomes the whole time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
so I rate that, man. I rate that. You think that having a business that makes you 5 to 10K is out of reach. But what if I told you it was only 12 months away? Maybe you're in a corporate job and you've mastered that game, but you just simply hate playing it for someone else. You've got the knowledge, skills, and expertise, but you're afraid to build a business by yourself. Or maybe deep down, you just don't believe that that's possible for you. This is exactly what we teach inside the Work Worth Doing Accelerator. We teach what I call the OSA framework: offer, sales, automate. This is the exact process that I use to build my business from 0 to 6 figures in 12 months. To date, we have had a 100% success rate from people coming into the accelerator with no offer and within a matter of weeks launching that offer to real clients. If you're thinking now that you don't know what your offer is, don't worry. I'm offering free roadmap calls to listeners of Work Worth Doing. The link is in the description below. Book yours now and I'll see you over there. Just staying on sales, right? I'm going to just bring us back to sales a bit because we've got a good little rabbit hole there. But can you think to like some of the most pivotal negotiations you've had? Like maybe one of the biggest ones that like really fucking mattered? And maybe what you did during it that was sort of clever or calculated or maybe intentional that won you the deal.
Yeah, I think when our investor like bought into our company, so I think we'd sold probably like 10 deals, like very new to property, and then we sold 2 standard buy-to-lets to someone who's now a shareholder in our company, and he was basically like just sold his company for tens of millions, wanted to get involved in property, but then we sourced him the deals and he was like, instead of just buying deals, like how do I get involved and like build a portfolio of you guys? And that was probably the biggest, I guess it was like a 6-month process to get contracts signed. Because it's a big thing, like this guy got to protect his wealth. Like if he gives us millions of pounds, we can't just run off with it. Like, we are tied into the company for X period of time with all these different things. Even though it's our own company, we at the time you sit there and you think that you're kind of like selling your soul because you're like, is it the right thing to do? Because you see a lot of people sell parts of their company really early and regret it, bringing on other shareholders that they don't really know. For us, it's worked out really well. So I think that was probably the biggest turning point in our property journey. To be fair, probably in our life in terms of business. So it got to the point where he ended up buying shares in our company for just shy of like 200k, but like we'd literally sourced like fucking 10 deals. Like we were for nothing. He just did that. Basically, what happened was, for people that want to know, we basically just said, us 3 want wages for the next 2 years guaranteed, and that is the figure. And so we basically gave ourselves a 2-year runway to just make it work. So he bought in, and then gave us £3.6 million. Wow. No security on anything, just pure trust.
Wow.
And then we built a property portfolio with it.
What was that like the moment he said yes?
I mean, it was weird because he approached us, but then there was a lot of back and forth in the negotiation of like who gets what, like what happens in the future.
Yeah.
And it's like same with anyone, like if they're selling a company or selling shares or buying shares or whatever, like there's so many ifs and what if that happens and what if this happens, and there's so much of that. But then I think it was good because we kind of like prepped it before, like a week before we knew it was happening. We already had the office. We already had like, I think I'd quit my job. Alex had quit his job. So then we was kind of in that stage of like, shit, I fucking hope this happens.
Yeah.
But when it was all signed, it was good. Money came in the bank and fucking hell, it was good.
Yeah, I'd say that was a good day. I'd say that's like, because I look back over my first few years in business and I just certain milestones, like meeting this person, this investor, this deal that I got, you know, there's milestones, but that fucking hell, man, that sounds like a
and we were
like a
young.
serious one.
Like the business was worth nothing, and like we were
Good
probably
deal,
what? Yeah, it was good too. I think it was like 22 at the time. But then it just gave us a springboard to go and buy a lot of houses, which is and one mistake I made at that time was not documenting the process and the journey.
Oh, that would be some good content.
Yeah, we did like over 55 HMOs in 12 months, and then
Purchases.
Yeah,
What the
purchased
fuck?
and refurbed every single one of them and leased them, and then sold half of them in the space of a year. But
Wow.
I didn't. We were like, oh, I want to be in the shadows. I don't want to be going on Instagram. If we had documented, didn't hardly had any pictures of any of the houses.
Oh
Well, we
man.
had pictures of the houses in like the refurb process,
Yeah.
but none of it was of us. There was no selfies. There was no pictures of us
Picture
in the
of
houses.
house.
Videos of us. Yes, so that's annoying now because when I'm posting on Instagram, like I have 4 or 5 years track record that's just not been documented to what I'd want to then put out into the world.
I think this is a good chance to segue into content after, you know, getting into sales there. So, like, your content, as I said earlier, like, it's very, I mean, I follow you. Like, you know, I really like the message you put out because, as you said, there's a lot of charlatans in property and it's just refreshing, I think, is the main thing. I think when I look at you, it's like, you're not selling any pipe dream. It's just like, you know, this is really shit, but like you also should fucking do it if you really
Yeah,
want to. Like if you actually have a craving to change your life,
yeah.
this can do it. Like what is the purpose of the content that you're creating? Like why are you doing that
hmm
outside of personal brand? Because I imagine that's not the only thing.
Yeah, I think it's just to fuel the companies.
Yeah.
Um, Adam and Alex weren't going to do it. It's just not their bag. So one of us had to
You
do
took the
it.
ring to Mordor.
Yeah, yeah, so yeah, 100%. And I think it just fuels the companies. I can raise money a lot better. I get access to a lot more deals.
Mm-hmm.
I can build my property network. The marketing agency that we're bringing out, I'll be able to get clients a lot easier. Our CRM platform will be able to get people signed up a lot easier. Yeah, so it just helps massively. Like I wish I'd done it a lot, um, a lot further before, just because it just helps so much. And I think the biggest advice I could give people is just please just build a personal brand or build anything. Just document it. Like you don't even have to really
Yeah.
like with my personal brand. I've said personal brand so many times, but like it's just documenting the journey and the process. And
Yeah.
people want to always be really like prim and proper on there, and I don't think that's the way. Like you'll see me post an Instagram story of me just drinking a pint at the pub, and like my YouTube videos that I put out is, the last one was just me and Adam in an Irish bar drinking beer. It's like people don't really do that because people sit there and think, well, if an investor sees that, that'll look really bad.
Yeah.
It's like, well, no, it'll actually look the complete opposite. It'll look
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you will look like a normal person.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. They
I
can
think that's
relate to
what,
you.
yeah, people miss out on that so much. They try and post the perfect stuff at the perfect time and say
Yeah.
the right things, but just literally just completely be yourself.
Yeah, because like do you know when you see somebody on LinkedIn and they're just posting fucking Lamborghinis, and you're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I cannot relate to you.
No.
That's not like to the average person. That
Mhm.
is just like it might be appealing in some way, and maybe you're pulling on some like unfulfilled dream of theirs, but like it's not relatable at all. Whereas I look at
No.
you and I'm like, yeah, I'd go for a pint with him
Yeah,
for
exactly.
sure.
Exactly. It's like we've kept that with absolutely everything that like me and my two business partners have. Adam and Alex is like we don't have nice watches. I literally don't wear any watches. Like, we don't have nice cars. We go on nice holidays. That's pretty much it. We live a nice life and just doing this like I was saying before, like I live a very, very simple life.
Yeah.
I was on another podcast and someone was like, you should just spend the money and enjoy the life. I'm like, I'm enjoying my life. Like
Yeah.
the favorite thing I do on a Saturday morning, every single Saturday morning, is go to the same cafe and get the same thing to eat every Saturday morning. And that for me is just perfect. And it sounds so simple, but that's the life I want. And I spend my money on houses
Well, that
and
like
businesses.
like I always say to the guys that I'm working with as well that I help to build their business is like, why are you doing this?
Mm.
Like, get really, really fucking clear about what you want, because you won't stay the course if you don't know that.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's just you're pissing into the wind.
Yeah.
And that to me, like one of my reasons is like I like to travel a lot. I really like going and adventuring and exploring, and that's something that was really important to me, and I couldn't do that if I was restricted geographically.
Yeah.
From a time perspective, I couldn't do any of that, so that was my one. But equally, like, I like just fucking sitting around, man.
Yeah. 100%.
I think a lot of people get maybe misconstrued and go at this from the wrong lens, or like they're thinking about like the Lamborghinis and stuff, when in reality, like, that wouldn't solve how they feel. They
No.
wouldn't give them the peace of mind or the joy that they actually are truly looking for from
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. I, like that stuff doesn't even come into my head
No.
of like nice cars. I literally just think I just literally play the game. I just think it's one big game, and
Yeah.
I just want to win more than anything.
What does that word mean to you? Like, what do you think of when you think of winning?
Just being able to do whatever you want. Like being able to just have successful businesses, which doesn't necessarily then mean like, oh, I get to pay myself X amount a month, or I get to pay myself this. Like, it's literally just being able to just go and do what you want. But that also doesn't mean like private jets. It doesn't mean yachts or anything like that, because that's literally like I don't want any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Because it actually wouldn't make my life better. For me, it's just like, can I just go and get my hair cut whatever time of the day? Do you know what I mean? Do I have to ask people to have a doctor's appointment? Like that for me is just everything.
That is it, man. Honestly, that is it. It is just the
literally is.
ability to just wake up and be like, nah, no, not
100%.
today.
Like the other day, like we were just saying, like I think we woke up at like 10 a.m. And like I see my dad in the evening. He was like, "What did you do today?" I was like, "I woke up at 10 and then just sat on the sofa with my laptop." He was like, "What?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Well, yeah, that's just what my day is like."
Yeah.
Some days like that is all I do, and that's the freedom that everyone should look for. And it's not like, I guess money does help it, but like honestly, I could live a very, very good life just earning $4 or $5 grand a month.
Yeah.
I could live whatever life I want to live. Like you can literally just go and travel wherever you want and just live a beautiful life.
100%, man. Yeah, 100%. And it's like, it is just being able to. Well, I think money is like, you kind of need the money to do it.
Yeah,
Because if you had money, you wouldn't work a job. Well, most people wouldn't.
Yeah.
You know, for the people like you and I who didn't who hated it, if money was sorted, you wouldn't do it. So you kind of do need to address that in some capacity.
Yeah, 100%.
But like, yeah, it's just honestly, man, it's the small decisions that I just get to make on a daily basis. The flexibility of just saying, yeah, actually, like for example, the other day I just decided I'm going to Bali next week. I'm just that wasn't. I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
And it's not a flex. It's just more so the reality of being able to make those calls. I sometimes need to pinch myself and say it, man. I'm like, yeah, fuck, life is sweet when you can do that.
I think as well, people don't understand how actual easy it is, like to live. Like when people have like that dream life, like it's so much easier than you think. Like it's so much easier. Like it's so hard getting up, driving an hour to the office, doing a 9 to 5, driving an hour home, and having 2 days at the weekend. That is fucking hard.
That's shite.
Like
it's really hard.
We always say to people when we're talking about like, let's say deal sourcing, for example.
Yeah.
It's like, right, you spend what 40 hours a week, right? In your 9 to 5 or in your office job. It's like if you just stop that job tomorrow, and I'm not like an advocate for like go and quit your job tomorrow sort of thing. I always want people to stay in the job as long as you can, because that can be a cash flow business. But I always say like if you just went and printed 1,000 letters a day, right? And for the 40 hours that you'd be in your 9 to 5, you just for 40 hours in a week go and post direct to vendor letters. Do you think you're going to make more than £2,500 that you're getting paid in your current job? The answer is always yes. So it's like, well, what the fuck are you doing? Like, it's not that hard. Like, you are literally a postman at that point, posting letters, 1,000 letters, like every single day. Like we used to do every single Sunday. You used to post 1,000 letters for an entire year, and off the back of it, it's made us an absolute fortune. So it's like, just go and do the work. Like it's so, like to live the life you want to live, so much easier than you think.
Yeah, I keep saying that to the guys as well. I'm like, it's actually not that far away. It's like 12 months of decent work.
Yeah.
And you might even do it in 6. Like, I don't want to. I never set expectations that way. But the reality is, some people just fucking smash it.
Yeah.
And some people don't. Like me. Like my first year was awful. I was down loads of money. Took on 2 bad deals. I was like pulling my hair. So my first year was really shit. But I stayed the course, turned it around, and year 2 was amazing. And so, like, I don't want to like ever mislead people, but the reality is, it isn't actually that far away.
No.
If I had just done year 2 and year 1, I'd be laughing instead.
For sure.
You know, and one of the things I actually wrote down, it's funny you said about how the 9 to 5, 40 hours a week is hard. A quote you had on one of your posts was, being an entrepreneur is hard, so is being broke.
Yeah, exactly. And I think like, I'd much rather have no money, but be working for myself, then pretty much have no money working for somebody else, because then at least you can just do whatever you want to do. Like, I think I don't even know what I consider being broke. Like, I don't want to turn into like an
Zero.
Andrew Tate of
Yeah.
you're broke.
Yeah.
But like, just like if you're doing what, $2,000 a month, like it's quite easy to go out there and utilize a skill that you have. Like everyone has a skill, I think. Like whether that is marketing, like you might be working for a marketing agency and you know how to run ads. To literally earn your $2,000 a month, you need 10 people to pay you £200 a month to run their ads. You set up an Instagram account, you could get that within a month.
Yeah.
But then you're doing that fully remote in Bali.
Yeah.
Like you can do it. Like whatever skill you've got. And we teach people when they come in as property, like you have two businesses, your investment vehicle and your cash flow business. Your cash flow business doesn't have to be property. It doesn't have to be rent to rent. It doesn't have to be deal sourcing. It doesn't have to be like auction sourcing or any of these other different things. Like it can be what you're actually good at. So one of the lads in the network that we work with, he used to work for like a leaflet distribution company. So what's he doing for his cash flow business? Set up his own leaflet distribution company because he knows how to do it. And then he'll get people paying to go and deliver D2B letters. At the same time, he can post his own D2B letters and get leads and have property business off it. So I think it's so like you say, it's so much easier than people think.
Okay, so like, let me just bring us back to, because obviously you and I have like quote unquote done it, right? We've like shifted out of that. But I don't know about you, man. But like when I was in my job, I never actually thought I could. I was stuck behind a wall of belief that was like not there. And had I not taken the plunge, eaten so much shit, like I don't think I would have ever had that belief. But I'm just trying to think of like, if I was listening to this now and I was still at that point, like how would you tell someone like that to start reframing that lack of belief they might have?
I think just the biggest thing is thinking like, what's the worst that can happen? As long as you're not like massively exposing yourself financially, in terms of taking on loads of debt and credit cards and stuff like that, like there's loads of low friction businesses that you can set up, whether it's in property or not in property, that requires pretty much hardly any upfront costs. Like you can just set your business up and I think the biggest advice I give is just like, what's the worst that can happen? Like you can literally go straight back into that job in 12 months time, in 6 months time, at a different company.
Yeah.
And chances are, let's say you're earning X amount of money, you leave that job to set your own thing up, it doesn't go well. Chances are the new job that you go into is going to be better paying than that job that you was in anyway. So you've actually just got a pay rise for leaving your job.
Yeah.
Like, because when you transition from job to job to job, that's why people job hop all the time, because your pay goes up.
But like logically, we all know this. I think everyone knows that there is a path. They can do it. They are safe because they can get another job anyway. But like, it's still just something. Like, there's just something that needs to give.
I just think some people aren't made out for it, which is fine.
Yeah.
Like, not everyone should try and have their own business, because.
But it's the people who want to, man. You know, it's the people who want to and are still stuck there. That's who I really want. Like, that's who I'm trying to reach with what I'm doing here. Is like the person who is like very aware that they hate it and that they want to change, but just can't quite make that little last shift in their head to lean into action.
Yeah, I mean, it is so hard to quit your job.
Yeah.
And go and do your own stuff. Like, it's so hard. Like, it's not easy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm the same as you though, by the way. Like, for just for to be very clear, I never advocate for like quit your job shit.
No.
Like, don't at all, because that's going to put you in a shit place. Bit of history on me, man. In my first year that I mentioned there, I was 40K down. I got fired from my job because I was working too much in the business. So I was all over the place. Like, I was all fucking over the place. And I would never wish that on anyone. You know, I would always just say, like, start gently. Start gently while you're in your job. Do it slowly. There's no rush. Loads of time. But just start.
100%.
But just do something and do it for ages.
Yeah, you've got to pick the right thing as well. Like, have to pick the right vehicle. Like, if you're in your 9 to 5 job, like, you'll see a lot of people selling stuff on deal sourcing. Like, straight up, like, deal sourcing is not the right thing. Yeah.
No, as in I got stung with a shit deal.
Yeah, exactly. Like deal sourcing is not the thing you want to do if you are in a 9 to 5 job, to get out of your 9 to 5 job, because I mean, you're in a 9 to 5 job. How many viewings are you going to be able to do a week? like hardly any.
Yeah.
And you're competing against people that can go and view 30 houses a week. It's just not going to work.
Yeah.
So you got to choose the right vehicle that can get you out of that job. And that's why I always say it doesn't have to be property. It can be whatever you're doing in your current job now that you can just monetize, or just people around you that, like, having business partners for me is really good as well. Yes, we have to split all the money, and yes, we have to, make 4 times the amount as other people as just a one-man band. But at the same time, I have 4 times the amount of work that I can do. So having somebody else by your side is good, because you get to celebrate the ups, but also get to bang your heads together on the downs.
Yeah, that's so true. So true. And I love what you said about, it doesn't have to be this property vehicle. And that's what I'm big on, man. I could have sold Airbnb courses if I wanted to, but it was just something that didn't quite sit right with me, because I know how detrimental that field can be for someone having been, like, really, really burnt by it. And so I'm exactly what you said there about, hey, look, as your first stepping stone, of which there will probably be many, just use what you've already got.
Yeah.
Like, if you're being paid right now, you are valuable to someone.
Exactly.
Like, you are worth
100%.
money. And so
100%.
just do it for other people, and then you can be flexible.
100%. Someone joined our network the other day, and they build websites for clients, and he's not earning a lot of money at all.
Sure.
And I was like, well, why don't you just charge people 2-3K a website in the property industry? You have my property network here, just like 150 people in. You have 150 potential clients here to create them a really good website, really good funnels, etc. To charge people $2,000 a pop. You get 10 people over the space of a year. That's better than the salary that you're getting paid right now. So it's like, you need 10 people over the space of a year. And let's say you then are working 2-3 days a week on that business, and the biggest thing you've done is free up time for your property business and everything else. So just open up your mindset of what skill have you got, and how can you monetize it, and then how can you get in the correct circles or correct networks to, like, who's going to buy this product. Like, if you're selling anything, you need to sit and think, like, how am I going to get this product in the hands of the people that want it? So yeah, it can be done, and it's genuinely not as hard as people think.
Yeah, it isn't. It really isn't. And I think the thing that you get so much of that you don't have is the time. Like, you're still doing the thing, but you just have way more time as a result. I mean, if you do it right and you outsource and you hire well.
Yeah,
I think that's the big caveat.
For sure.
Another thing that I was gonna pull up was something you said on one of your Instagram posts, which is, I used to be obsessed with the goals, but now it's about the journey. Can you, like, unpack that a little bit?
Yeah, I think when we started, because you always sat there thinking, like, oh, I want to buy this first house, or like, I had massive, like, shiny penny syndrome. I was like, I really want to do like blocks of flats. I really want to do commercial to residential conversions, all these different things. And when I was just chasing that stuff, like, I felt like there was just so much pressure to just, like, get it. And then when we got it, I was like, well, these bigger things are actually a pain in the arse. I don't even want to do this. Should have just kept it very, very simple and kept buying terraced houses. This is the easiest business in the world, and it makes good money. So, like, I should have just kept doing that. Whereas, like, putting all that pressure on yourself is not good for, life at home and business life in general. So, like, now, like, we genuinely just focus on and it's so cliche, just enjoy the journey. But we just love it. Like, we just get up and do what we want at whatever pace we want to do it at. And I feel like you kind of take back control as well, because you sit there, instead of, like, trying to go for something that you think you want, like, we just take back control, and we can sit there and think, how can we make more money in this business, or how can we make more money in this business? And you can just sit back, be more relaxed, and just, like, control your own pace of how you want to do it.
It sounds more like creative then as well. You're not like frantically chasing the big carrot that's dangling in front of you. You're like, okay, I've got these things. Let's, like, see how I can make them flourish.
100%. And I think the way we build our businesses is just, we build our businesses off our other businesses, and, like, there's problems that we have. So, like, in our we've got loads of HMOs. We're having problems with, like, antisocial behaviour, the bills, and all these different things. So then we thought, oh, like we can do whatever we want. Like, no, like I'm not working for somebody. Why don't we just set up a business that controls all of that stuff? That'd be pretty cool. We can chuck it in our houses, and then we can see if we can start selling it to other people in their houses. And like, you kind of control your own journey. And like for us, like a marketing agency, it's like, well, yeah, we run our own ads, and 99% of people in property don't even run ads, which I think is really weird. It's like everyone's living in the dark ages.
Yeah.
It's like, why don't we just run ads for other people and charge them money for it? That'd be pretty fun. And then we just do that. And software, it's like everyone's obsessed with automation, but no one knows what like automation or CRM people use. So well, why don't we just make one? We just have fun with it, and I think
Amazing,
yeah,
man.
you have the freedom.
If I'm thinking back to like year one, and something we talked about before we got on was how it feels like for me. I'm in my third year, and you're what, like five,
fifth or sixth?
six, yeah. Like, you know, you walk around differently, right? But it can be sometimes hard to see that when you're in the throes of you know, your first month or first 6 months or first year. Like, how would you help somebody to see that light at the end of the tunnel if they were in their first shitty year? What would you say to them?
Yeah, I mean, we've had so many bad years. Like, people will think like buying all them houses like that meant that year was good. It's like, it's just not true. Like, I think we sat down last year and we're like, I think this is the first year we've had what we can classify as a good year. Like, and we were 4 years in.
Wow.
Like, and people are expecting to like, be like, I sourced 10 deals this year, great year, or I sourced 100 deals, great year. People just expect that. And it just doesn't happen, because then everybody would do it. Like, genuinely, the first time we sat down and said, we're doing all right, was 4 years in.
Wow.
Which was mad, because everyone just assumes that you're doing really, really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you buy a lot of houses, but when you buy a lot of houses, you then need a lot of staff, and then your costs go up.
You buy a lot of headaches.
Yeah, literally. So it's time in the game, like especially in property. Like loads of people invest with a time horizon of like 1 or 2 years and expect to just be cash flowing and capital growth. It's like property was never made for that. Property was made for people that have made money to invest in the asset. Like property as an industry wasn't meant to be for people to start their career in property at 22.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, that industry's not made for that. You can do it because we've done it and you've done it and all these other people have done it. But like, if you're gonna do it, you have to understand that it just takes time.
Yeah.
Like, it just does.
Yeah, man, I agree. But that's like often hard at the start, you know. It's just like reconciling the fact that you just got to work for ages, and just keep going.
And you also won't know anything. Like, you think you know stuff, but you actually won't. I think just getting around good people, like you, like having really good friends in the industry, like immersing yourself in the industry, people that are further ahead than you are, like just speak to people, because you genuinely just do not know anything. I look back to when we started, when I thought we knew stuff, and I was like, now I'm thinking like, Jesus Christ, why did we do that?
Yeah,
it's like the worst thing we could have done.
Yeah, man, it's been really cool to like unpack these like areas. You know, I think sales is just super important. I think like content is super important, and it was good to unpack those with you, man. I appreciate your take on it all.
No, all good. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on, pal.
Cheers, bro.